Hello and welcome to tonight's Angela Ray show. I am so delighted to have you all here on this evening. For everyone who will be catching the broadcast tonight on the replay, make sure you chime into those comments, hashtag replay to let me know that you went back and watched the show. For those of you who will be jumping on live tonight, you know what to do. Go ahead and slide into those comments and let me know how you stayed cool today. For those of us who are in the southeastern United States, boy, we are in the midst of a heat wave. So, would love for you to chime in the comments and also make sure that you share this broadcast with a friend or tag a friend in the comments. Again, if you are joining us live, definitely want you to interact with us tonight. We have a great show planned for you and an even better guest on tonight. Before we get started, we're going to do what we do. Of course, you know what we do. We start our episode off with our Ray of Motivation moment. And so for tonight's Ray of Motivation moment, I want to pose you the question: do you need to go on a diet? Do you need to go on a diet? So before you all say, what do you mean? Do I need to go on a diet? The Lord loves me the way that I am. No, no, no. I'm not talking about that kind of diet. Even though some of us, I'm gonna go ahead and testify, and these are my confessions. Some of us may be still dealing with that quarantine 15, but that's not the kind of diet that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the kind of diet where you are intentional in what you put in your spirit. We are living in a day and age where news is 24 hours a day. Whether we get our news through broadcasts, our local news, our national news, even news that comes to our devices, smartphones, even social media, there are so many ways that stories get to us and get our attention. However, especially lately, there have been a lot of stories that have been shared that while they are important, for some, they are triggers. They are very traumatic. Oftentimes, when I do watch the local or the national news, many times there's a disclaimer before a story ever runs, basically saying this video or this story may be disturbing to some of our younger viewers, or some viewers may find this disturbing. While I know that we all like to be informed, I know that I do. We want to be informed. We want to know what's going on in our communities, in our state, and in our world. It's also important to know when to say when. And this is not about whether or not you should put the cup down and that you've had enough to drink, but whether or not you have had enough of certain types of programming and news into your spirit. If you find yourself being extremely agitated, if you find that perhaps you are deeply disturbed by every little thing that you see, or just when you watch certain types of news stories, it just really brings you down, then you might want to consider changing your diet. I know so many people who go on what they say social media fast just because they need to take a break from the kinds of information that is shared on social media. Other people do fast where it pertains to news or just where it pertains to television. Maybe they log on to email once or twice a day and limit their interaction with their electronic devices. I think in this day and age where we are coming out of probably one of the most challenging times in most of our lifetime, it is so important to protect your mental and your spiritual health. And that really begins with what you are allowing in your spirit. So, again, tonight's Ray of Motivation moment, the question that I am posing to you all is: do you need to go on a diet? And if you do, you just may need an accountability partner. So that is tonight's Ray of Motivation moment. Well, I am really excited about my guest on tonight. She is a very talented actress. Some of you may know her from some of your favorite church dramas. You've seen her as Lady Bird on Saints and Sinners, but you have also seen her on Greenleaf and many programs in between. She goes all the way back when she was about, I don't know, 15, when she was doing In the Heat of the Night. Please help me welcome Miss Donna Biscoe. Donna, thank you so much for being on the Angela Ray Show tonight.
Hello, Angela. How are you? Thank you for having me.
I am doing well. I want those red glasses. That's what I want. Those are cute. Those just, they
Thank you.
really are a
Thank you.
statement piece.
Girl, I
I've
hadn't
been
planned
trying
on
to,
leaving them on, but I was like, oh, these kind of cute.
they are. They are definitely cute. So you have been really busy over the past few years, working multiple television shows in recurring roles while also doing some film as well. However, there are sometimes people see someone, they see someone like you and they're like, oh, I see her everywhere. Well, she just blew up. But they don't realize there's been a journey,
Yeah,
and you've been working at your craft for a long time.
for
Tell us how you got
over
started.
25 years, actually.
Okay. Okay.
You know what? And it's so weird, Angela. I actually just fell into acting. I really, really did. I was never classically trained. I met a casting director on an airplane. I was a flight attendant with Eastern Airline. There was a casting director on my flight who was going through headshots. And I was just being nosy. And I just stopped and started this conversation with him. And you know how I'm sure every casting director always gets that story. Oh, I've always been so interested in this. So I fed him that little line. And we were going to Minneapolis, I believe. And everyone had deplaned. And the agent came on and said, "Are you Donna?" And I said, "Yeah. There's somebody out here who wants to talk to you." I knew I didn't know anybody in Minneapolis. And it was the gentleman I had been talking to on the plane. And he just posed the question, would I be interested in working his show? So I got all excited and said, well, you know what? If he's going to be contacting me, I need to have headshots, because I didn't even have headshots then. And I went out and got headshots, and I never heard from the guy. So I was stuck with these headshots. And I was like, well, what am I going to do with all these freaking pictures? And I just decided one day, I got in my car. This is a true story. And I told myself, you are going to drive to every agent in this city and drop off a headshot. This was the time when you could go buy an agent's office. You can't do that anymore. And I did. The very first office I went to, they immediately took me on as a client. And I started out in print. And she started sending me out on commercial and movie auditions. And I was like, look, I don't know anything about acting. And she was like, well, just go and act like you know. Just pretend. So I was like, okay. And I just started going out and started auditioning and just being the kind of person that didn't want to look like she didn't know what she was doing. I started taking classes. Ended up going to New York and studying at Strasberg. And knock on wood, God was good. I guess he just figured, okay, let's see what this path is going to lead you to. And it just blew up for me. It really did.
That is an amazing story. I feel like I heard someone else that I interviewed. She works behind the scenes. She works in hair in film and television. But almost like you said, where you were being nosy, she said she asked someone a question and she literally fell into doing, I think, hair for, like, I don't know, somebody big in New York, and then her name started getting passed around, and the rest, as they say, is
It's
history.
history. So, there's a lesson in that. If you feel there's something you want to do and you get in somebody's presence that's in that industry, don't be afraid. I mean, don't make yourself a nuisance, but don't be afraid to ask questions and learn as much as you can while you are in that person's presence. You never know what could happen, you know?
Now, I'm not going to ask for a name because you did say you never heard back from him, but do you remember that casting director now that you're much more active in the industry? Have you come across that name? Like, you know what?
No,
This
you
that
know,
dude who never called me.
no, 'cause he was a casting director. He was actually out of Minneapolis. So and probably couldn't say his name when I went out there and talked to him, but he never got in contact. And I was like, okay, well, let's keep moving forward. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just telling someone one of my first professional gig as an actress was in theater, and I remember someone telling me that they could help me, and I won't go into all those details, but I was like thinking to myself, who are you? Like, I don't
Right.
know you. And most of the people there were prominent people. As a matter of fact, that year, Billy D. Williams was the chair of the festival. So there were definitely some movers and shakers, but this guy was like, oh yeah, I can help you. And I started thinking now that I'm more involved in the industry and I can vaguely remember his face, I still don't know who he was. So who
Right.
knows?
You have to be careful at the same time because there's some people out here in this industry who don't have good intentions. So you really have to be smart and listen to that inner voice. Because a lot of times, and usually for me, that's God talking to me, letting me know, you need to run. And when you hear that, listen to it because it's normally giving you some good advice. Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree because that's what that voice told me that day so many years ago. Like,
No,
no,
this
no,
ain't right.
this ain't what you want, boo boo. This is not what you want. So I was mentioning some of your more recent projects that
Mhm.
people may recognize you from. Of course, Saints and Sinners, Greenleaf, Ambitions, which I was really hoping to see you work that character because I was like, uh-oh,
Yeah.
this is going to be interesting where she's
Yeah.
going with this. But of course, that one didn't last as of right now. But I just heard that the game is coming back for the third time. So who knows? Ambitions may
Okay.
come back as
Listen,
well.
I keep my fingers crossed for that show because I absolutely enjoyed working on that show so much. I loved working with Robin and all our other cast members. We were, at least I was extremely disappointed when it didn't get picked up. But you never know. This is kind of industry where Jamie may be out there, pitching that show too, because it's my understanding the ratings were pretty good of the show on the show, and hopefully, somebody will see it and love it enough, especially if the fans write in enough about the show that somebody will pick it up, and I can go back to work.
Yes. And fans have been known to do that, where they're like, no, it's not time. We really want to see more of these characters and where they're going. I know that happened with the show Nashville. I was a big fan of Nashville, watching it on ABC. And when ABC canceled it, CMT picked it up.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
it had some more life to it. So, yes, you
Yeah,
never
and
know.
I think Saints and Sinners has been the same way. I mean, our fan base just grows like crazy every season, and we've beat out the ratings for some top shows sometimes in our time slot. So amongst African American ratings, and and I mean, the more and more our ratings increase, hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get another season out of it. Because the show gets better and better every season. The writing gets bonkers. Yeah.
Yeah, you've been doing some stuff on
Yeah.
that show. So tell me, I mean, it seems like to me, and I've interacted with you some, like, completely non-related to the industry, where we're just at a casual event. So I know that character is not you
Yeah, not a,
at all.
she's a little misguided. She's,
And so what is it like getting to play a character like that? And I look at the way they have your hair, I'm like, oh, just the look.
yeah,
Sometimes it's the look. You don't even have to say anything, but it's just the looks that you give. I'm
yeah.
like, oh, she about to hurt somebody.
About to hurt somebody. It's so much fun because she is so opposite of who I am, some of the things that she does and says, I would not even remotely have the nerve to say or do, So to be able to play somebody out like that is just absolutely just it's been the joy of my life in my business so far, in the business so far. Yeah. And this season you're seeing a different side of Leona. They because after a while I was like, this woman is so evil. When are you all kind of soften her up just a little bit? And they let it happen this season, and I really enjoyed this season a lot. I wasn't in it as much this season as I was last season, um, but when Leona appears this season, it's with a purpose.
All right now. One of our very loyal viewers here at the Angela Ray Show, Edwin, says that he got hooked on Saints and Sinners because of you. I hope you can see that on the screen. He's like, she's so devious. So his question to you is, how do people react to you when they see you? Because I know I've heard about some of those devious soap opera stars that are in the airport and fans can't separate the actor from the character and they just walk up and slap them. I've heard of
Oh,
that. Yeah, I've heard of that happening with some of my favorite soap stars over the years. So how do fans react to you when they see you?
it's so funny because they'll see me. This is before the days of mask. And
Right.
it's usually in a grocery store or the mall or something. Somebody will see me and they'll stop and they'll go, and I'll go, don't I know you? And I'm like, I don't know. Do you? And one lady walked up to me, and when she realized who I was, she screamed in the grocery store. And I was like, shh, shh, shh. And she wanted a hug, But usually people are just like, they're just so surprised to see me,
Hmm.
and I love the show. They're real polite, and they'll whisper, when talking to me because they don't want to, because I'm grocery shopping, looking, Lord knows how. But it's always a joy to meet my fans out in public. So I don't mind when they walk up to me at all.
So the person who told me she is the president of my fan club, I love her to death. Diane says that, yeah, it's crazy because of you. Every season is crazy because of you.
It really is. Because this season, they started the season with a movie, which
I
is never, yeah, that had never been done before. And it was to link season 4 with season 5. So
Oh.
when Nigel came to me and said, well, you know about the movie, don't you? And I was like, yeah, I keep hearing some rumor about a movie because I hadn't even gotten the script. And he was like, I said, I haven't seen the script. And he looked at me, he was shocked. He was like, what? And I was like, no, I don't even know what the movie's about. And so he sent me the script. And the next time I saw him, he was like, so what do you think? The movie had Leona's name, the title had Leona's name in it. And I realized that the crust of the movie was about Leona. And that was very exciting to me because it gave me such an opportunity to play. And honey, she was taking no characters, no prisoners. She was taking no prisoners in that movie. So, but it brought the two of them, the 2 seasons together, which worked out beautifully, you know.
Now, we've been talking about some of the projects that you've been doing on the small screen, but you've been on the big screen as well. I remember seeing you in Girls Trip
Mhm.
playing Jada Pinkett Smith's mom. What was it like to be a part of what became almost like an anthem for women for a little while?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun because they were so crazy on that set. And I remember sitting down, we were waiting between shots, and Tiffany was in the room, and she truly has a heart of gold, and everybody was just talking, and Tiffany was just actually telling all of us her story about how she came up in foster care and raised her siblings and the whole bit. And so it was really a lot of fun. We were always laughing on that set.
I can imagine because Tiffany Haddish seems like she is definitely a ball of energy, most
She really
definitely.
is. What you see on screen is what you get with her. She really is. She's just an amazing soul. She really is.
So Edwin has another question for you. I saw that you were born in Fort Benning, Georgia. Do you have a military background, and can you tell us about your childhood years?
I don't have well, that's not true. My father was in the military,
Okay.
but we didn't really grow up with him. He and my mother separated when I was a baby. But yeah, I grew up in Columbus, Georgia, right? Literally, I was like 5 minutes from Fort Benning, where we lived. And I just had a normal childhood. Sisters and brothers, and us just trying to get by. And, even in school, though, when I think about it, I was in the arts because I used to be a dancer in school. I loved dancing. I loved it. And I guess that's where that artistic thing in me just never died uh, from my early years. And then when I went to college, I didn't really do anything but just try to get out of school. And then after school, it just kind of flared up again after that. Yeah. But I was a good girl in high school. I didn't
Okay.
get in too much trouble. Not too much trouble.
Not too much. Some stories, but we leave them on campus where
Yes,
hopefully no one else will bring them back
especially
up
on college
again.
campus. That's right. You sure do.
Now, before we went live, one of the things that you were talking about is working with up and coming actors.
Mhm.
So, talk to us a little bit about how someone who may be serious, and I definitely want to say that because there are a lot of people who kind of see where you are, like, oh, I'm gonna take about 5 classes with her, and then I'm gonna be on Saints and Sinners next season. It's
Mhm.
possible, but that just may not be your
Right.
journey. So for those who may be serious about wanting to study, talk to us a little bit about the classes that you offer.
Well, I just recently, before the pandemic, I really just started putting people on tape for auditions. I used to have this company called Put Me on Tape. And I found that I really did enjoy the coaching process of putting people on tape. So people would really get more than their dollar was asking for because I offered a lot more services, which, um, which I really enjoyed. Some people do get lucky, but I think if you're serious about the business, that you should always be in some kind of class. I even take classes now. And I just really enjoy it. So I'm opening up. I think I'm going to open up my services more to folks who need coaching, especially during, because that auditioning, especially nowadays with this whole video and Zoom auditioning and more video auditions, we're used to being in the room, and to have to audition on tape, that's a whole different ball game. And so far, knock on wood, Um, I've been lucky enough to book a couple of jobs strictly from tapes. So I just want to offer a spirit up to those that are seeking help with it. That's all. Yeah.
Okay. And we have Donna's Instagram scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Is there also a website that people can contact you in terms of signing up for your classes? Or will that information be shared on Instagram?
It'll probably be shared on Instagram. I'm about to expand my website because I have a website, donnabiscoe.com, to house all of that information and how to get in contact with me for coaching and taping and all that good stuff. But right now, you can probably, I guess, DM me on my,
Okay.
on my
Slide in Donna's DMs. Go ahead and slide in them DMs.
my brother is like, oh my God, Mom, you got to get with it. Come on. So, folks can get in contact with me that way.
Okay, so you got Diane is like, can I be the president of your fan club too? So
Yes,
you,
you
hey, you
can,
gotta
honey. I need a fan club.
now. You mentioned you've been in the business for 25 years, and your credits go back to In the Heat of the Night, and it's so funny. I'm sure you know both of these young ladies well. I was watching In the Heat of the Night on Saturday, and immediately I recognized Margot. I was like, "That's Margot."
Yes.
And then there was another actress, and I was like, I know her. She on myself. I said, that is Jan. I was like, hold up, I know that's Jan because I'm not used to seeing Jan with long hair. And I
Yes.
was like, oh my gosh. And then I know you have been on the show as well.
Yeah.
That was a classic.
Yes.
Um,
It's absolutely amazing that they're still showing episodes from that.
mhm,
Because Jen had a recurring role on that. She played the doctor on the show. So,
right.
yeah, yeah. She was one of the first ones in our crew there who had a recurring role. But it's absolutely amazing. I cringe every time I see it. I was so young. Those were I think In the Heat of the Night was one of my very first acting jobs. And girl, I would be in the little corner there just watching everybody trying to take in as much as I could. And Carol O'Connor was just a gem. You
Mm,
talk about somebody being the complete and total opposite of his Archie Bunker.
mhm.
That was Carol O'Connor. And he was so helpful on the set. And he talked to me and, he asked me questions. And I loved working on that show. I really did. Yeah.
It was a classic, and
It really was.
just a classic. And I love looking at those episodes now. And I was at someone's house and I had to leave. I'm like, I'm gonna have to go on Amazon Prime to find out what happens in this episode because I I didn't get a chance to finish it all. I was like, I know it is somewhere out there. Amazon Prime, Hulu. I'm
Oh,
sure
yeah.
I can
It
find
is somewhere. It doesn't take
it.
a lot now to find the show. Somebody's housing it.
Listen,
That's
you might can find something on YouTube. I had an audition for something about a month ago, and I was like, I think this is a remake. So I started Googling the first version. The entire first version was on YouTube. So I sat there and watched
oh
the
my
whole
God.
thing to study because I was trying to figure out, I don't know what
Wow.
this is about. So the whole thing was on YouTube. So you're right. It's
Wow.
probably out there somewhere.
Well, that's good to know. When I
Yeah.
find something that to look on YouTube. Yeah.
I was surprised. I was surprised the entire thing. And that was with, sometimes you'll see things on YouTube, then all of a sudden it'll be like, if you want to see the rest, click on this link, which may give you
Yeah.
a virus on your computer. But no, the entire thing was on YouTube. So, and it was
Wow.
a great story to watch. So it
Yeah,
was
yeah, it is.
fun study. All right. Edwin has another comment for you.
Everyone else business. Get rid of it. You all listen. They need to leave my poor Kendrick. Poor Kendrick cannot catch a break on that show. He really. I don't know how many times I've tried to kill the poor man on the show.
And
But
it just won't stick.
yes, yes, yes. But don't worry. I think this last show we saw a more vulnerable side of Leona. You kind of saw what makes Leona Leona.
Hmm.
And, but just tune in to episode 8.
No.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You tune in to episode 8 because when I read it, I went, "Oh, she's back."
Uh-oh. Okay. All right. So you all heard that here first. Tune in to episode
Episode 8.
8.
It's a good one, guys.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, Donna, as we begin to wind down our conversation, is there something that you have upcoming that you want the people to know besides episode 8?
Yeah,
Is there something
yeah.
else that's coming up that maybe you want to make sure that the people know about?
Look out for a film called The In Between on Netflix. It's my first Netflix show that should be coming out in a few months. I think we wrapped it a month and a half ago. At least I wrapped a month and a half ago. And I've also been working on Ozark.
Oh,
Yeah, I've been working on Ozark the last couple of months. It's a small part, but I got on there before the last season,
yeah,
before it
yeah.
closed out. So those two are my latest projects to look out for.
Okay,
Mhm.
awesome. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been my conversation with the incredible Miss Donna Biscoe. As I mentioned, her Instagram is scrolling at the bottom of the screen at the Donna Biscoe. Make sure you follow her so you can be the first to know about her upcoming projects, her acting classes, and she might be spilling a little tea. If you're serious about getting some training, go ahead and slide in them DMs. But if you're serious, if not, don't even go there. But if you're serious about getting some training, go ahead and slide in those DMs and she can connect you with information on when she's going to open up fully this next course of coaching for actors.
Thank you so much for having me, Angela. I really appreciate it. It's
Thank you. I appreciate you coming on. And I'm trying to think. It's been a while since I've seen you in person. I don't know if it was at a cookout or it's been a while, but you actually put me on tape probably about 4 or 5 years ago. I don't even remember how long. Yeah, yeah.
I have to go back and look because I very seldom do I delete anything. So I'll
It's
go.
been a while. I
Okay,
think it was when you first set up your area to tape at home.
okay, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Oh,
So
cool. Come back and see me, girl.
I will. I will do.
We'll
See,
play.
y'all. Now she invited me in front of all my friends and my fans, so y'all know I'm going, right? All right, Donna. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you. You too.
All
Thanks,
right.
guys. Bye bye.
Well, that is it for this Hump Day edition of the Angela Ray Show. As always, I would like to remind you all of Ray of Motivation number 54. Cleaning a mirror will not change the person who is reflected in it. Until next time, I encourage you all to go out and be the change. Have a great evening, and I will see you all next week.